What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Pause Reset Play. With the Forsaken expansion coming out in a few weeks, there's going to be some significant changes to the currency system within Destiny 2. I did make a video a few weeks ago talking about how to get ready for the Forsaken DLC. With some new information that's come out though in the last few days, I did want to make an update to that video and give my recommendations on how you can best get prepared for that expansion. Now, a lot of this has to do with the Crucible stream that they had a few days ago, where they talked about a lot of the changes coming into PvP. But in that video, they also showed a number of things that gave insights into how the currency system was going to look in Year 2. So, with that said, the three things I think you should be focusing on getting more of leading into the Forsaken DLC are Legendary Shards, Masterwork Cores, and Weapon Parts. Now, Legendary Shards, there's a good chance you already have a good number of these. If you're running low on them, though, there is a few ways that you can get quite a bit of these heading into Forsaken. First and foremost, I would recommend looking at your inventory, looking at your vault, and dismantling a lot of the weapons and armor that you're not really using anymore. Now, I would have some exceptions to that. Make sure you're keeping some of your raid gear if you have it. If you have some things like the Escalation Protocol armor that looks pretty neat, anything that you like, keep that. But also get rid of everything else that you're not really using anymore. Anything that's not max light, dismantle it. Same thing for weapons. For the most part, get rid of nearly all of those. Now, I say that for a few reasons. First and foremost, anything that you've obtained since the Warmind DLC came out, you can get that back again using the Year 2 collection system that they're going to have in place. So since Warmind came out, the game has been tracking what you have earned and what you've gotten. If you're not sure what you've gotten, you can use destinysets.com. That will let you look at vendor by vendor the weapons that you've accumulated since the Warmind DLC came out. And any of those things you've gotten before, you can get as part of the Year 1 collection. So rest assured, if you've gotten this weapon before, don't worry about getting rid of it. You can get it back again. There is one exception to that, though, and that is with certain weapons where you want to have multiple of that element. So right now, for my Escalation Protocol shotgun, it is a void weapon. Anything that you have right now is going to be locked into that damage type. So right now, I only have one Escalation Protocol shotgun. It's going to be locked into void in my Year 1 collection. So for that reason, I'd recommend trying to get 3 of these and have one of each damage type. That way, in your collection, that way you always have one of every single damage type for this shotgun. The same thing can be said for a number of other weapons. There's a lot of scout rifles. There's the Monononon scout rifle that people want to get multiple damage types for. So by and large, you're safe to delete most of your weapons unless you want to have all 3 damage types. Then just do your best to get those things. But by deleting a lot of your excess inventory, you can bump up your Legendary Shards quite a bit. There's also some other ways you can do this too. If you have a excess of legendary mods, you can break down any of these and they will give you 1 legendary shard and 1 mod component. Now, we know for sure that legendary shards are going to be important. We don't yet know how mod components will factor in. Those could be important resources to have as well. No matter what, you're going to have a bunch of legendary shards by getting rid of some of these. In terms of mods in general, now they did showcase a number of the new Year 2 mods. What they didn't get into, and what there's a lack of information on right now, is how exactly you can convert your Year 1 mods into Year 2 mods. I very much doubt that they're going to allow you to do these one for one. More than likely what's going to happen is it's going to be pennies on the dollar. Any mods you have right now are going to be pretty much worthless. You can trade those in for something. I am waiting for some more concrete information from Bungie on how exactly they're going to handle this before I go ahead and delete all of these. But that's my opinion. You could go ahead and get rid of all these now. These mods are pretty much worthless in Year 2. You can't put these on Year 2 weapons. You can't use these to bump up your light. That's no longer a thing in Year 2. Right now we're just waiting on what exactly they're going to do as far as the conversion factor, putting these into Year 2. Worst case scenario, though, is you delete all these and they give you legendary shards. That very well may be what happens. We're waiting on seeing what they're going to do, but no matter what, you'll get some shards for these. That's another way you can bump up your legendary shards. Other than that, you're really just turning in packages and getting shards that way by breaking down the gear. That's for your legendary shards. The other things you want to make sure you're saving up are weapon parts and Masterwork Cores. Now, I have a good bit of weapon parts here. I've been more or less saving these for a while. I'd recommend keeping these because these are still going to be important things to turn into the gunsmith. And especially with random rolls coming out, it's a good idea to have a nice stockpile of these. So you'll get these obviously by breaking down your gear, but you'll also get these too. You can get these as well if you have a excess number of the rare mods. You can break these down and they will give you some gunsmith materials in addition to a small amount of glimmer. So if you're running low on gunsmith materials, break down all that extra gear you have, all those extra blue gears. Break down any blue mods you have as well. That'll give you more weapon parts. But definitely make sure that you're saving up those as much as you can. If you need to get blues quickly, you can do things like public events, strikes. All those things will give you a crazy amount of blue gear, and you'll no doubt be swimming in weapon parts pretty soon. Last but not least, and this is probably the most important thing to save up in my opinion, are Masterwork Cores. Now, I say that because in the Crucible trailer, they showed the new Masterwork system, and instead of a gear simply being non-Masterwork versus Masterwork, there's going to be varying degrees of a Masterwork quality. You can actually Masterwork a gear up to 10 times until it's a full, true Masterwork. Now, to do that, it's going to require a very large number of Masterwork Cores. The first few levels only cost Glimmer and Legendary Shards, but as you get into the higher levels, up to level 10, it takes increasing numbers of Masterwork Cores to get there. So, if you want to masterwork your favorite weapons, your God Roll, Better Devils, or whatever you get, it's going to require a lot of Masterwork Cores to do that. So make sure you are saving these things up and not spending them at all. Don't use any of these right now. Save every single one you get. If you're running low on Masterwork Cores, there is a number of ways you can get them. I'd recommend turning in any tokens you get right now to try to get Masterwork gear. In the process, you'll also get a lot of Legendary Shards by doing this. Right now, I have roughly 330 Crucible tokens. To get more of these, obviously you have to play Crucible, but you can also make sure you're grabbing your bounties. That'll help out. That'll get you more tokens. But you want to turn all these things in. Now, for this, it is a pretty low percentage chance of getting a Masterwork gear from the vendor tokens. You do have a slightly better chance. I just got one right there. That's great. So I'll go ahead and break this thing down right now. Sometimes you'll get 2 Masterwork Cores from this. Sometimes you'll only get 1. But you want to make sure you're breaking down all this Masterwork gear and accumulating Masterwork Cores. As I was saying, though, the percentage chance from vendors like Shaxx and Zavala, those to me seem pretty low when you're turning in your tokens, your Crucible tokens, your Vanguard tokens, tokens on the EDZ, tokens on IO, all those planet tokens. The percentage chance of getting a Masterwork gear there is lower, I think, in my opinion. If you have a legendary engram, those seem to be a slightly higher chance of turning into Masterwork gear than do engrams from packages here. Likewise, when you're doing your milestones, those seem to be an even higher percentage chance of getting Masterwork gear. And last but not least, anything from the raid, those have a really high chance of being Masterwork. So if you're running low, you can turn in all your tokens here. You can do that pretty safely, in my opinion, because your key thing here is making sure you get a lot of Legendary Shards, making sure you get a lot of Masterwork Cores. So I'd recommend turning these in right now. But that's my approach right now. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your strategy is to get ready for Forsaken. Are you loading up on Legendary Shards? Are you loading up on weapon parts? And are you loading up on Masterwork Cores like I am? Let me know in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please hit me up with a like. Even more important, if you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be tremendous. But most importantly, though, thanks for watching, and we will catch up soon.